Oh, Jeff. Oh, I don't know about that fading in. I like it okay.
Put it down. I love it.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I beefed that one.
Hey, Django, fade it in. I've got a bit.
Okay. All right, you got a bit?
Yeah.
Do you want video, audio?
Oh,
audio
yeah.
and video. Okay. Bit in 3, 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. I was just enjoying my weekly stack of comic books, but now that you're here, I think I should enter phase 2 of my weekly comic reading protocol, which is discussing the books. I'm Jeff.
Weekly talking and reading. I'm Django.
Weekly comic book protocol. Oh my gosh, Django.
What?
Welcome to the Comics Place Presents, a perfectly acceptable podcast. Django, I was at the office yesterday,
Oh, that train's still here. Which office?
Comics Place HQ.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
Yep. And I was, cooking the hams, serving up the slices. And I had somebody come up and they said, it was my friend Nate McGarry Myers. And he said, "Are you guys streaming this week? I haven't seen you in a while." And it made me realize, oh my gosh, we've been at this cookout for so long, we've been forgetting to stream.
We've been lax.
We've been laxtating.
Nope, not that one.
Yep, never mind. We've been out and about, and for one of the first times, Django and I were both gone on separate trips, and we're not flying together.
Yeah, we called it the separation anxiety tour.
Yeah. And you would all, as listeners and viewers, know that I would be heartened to know that we end each one of those days by calling each other just to say night and
hi, Schmoopy.
See hey, buddy, anything making you nervous before bed tonight? And we made it like a solid week without anything. However, Django, last night something did happen.
Oh, yeah?
Well,
we went to that movie.
Oh, well, yeah, and that's maybe what caused the anxiety. No, Django, parting the kimono a little bit for our viewers, we run a point of sale business, and Django got the internet frights last night.
I am an internet frightened little boy. The internet is a scary place, and I wish everything was just easier, cake all the time.
Cybersecurity is like, patching itself and fixing itself. But what that means is that servers need to get restarted or something. And with this point of sale thing, we've got shops using servers. So all of a sudden, if some random company is like, hey, we're going to patch a server, we're like, wait a minute. We've got 100 and something shops that use that server, buddy.
It's good to patch this stuff proactively. It's terrifying to watch it have to happen. But surprise.
So a lot of people, myself included, think about becoming a parent and having a child that they get to share comic books with and teach things to. One of the fears,
of people thinking that.
Yeah, a lot of them are like, I want to have a kid with Jeff. And I'm like, come on, get in here. But having a kid means all of a sudden somebody relies on you.
Yeah.
It's just this big decision. Turns out point of sales and having built one and sharing it with people means all of a sudden you just inherited a bunch of adult people who rely on you.
Yeah, it's a lot like that. So you know what? It's probably fine. I think we got this. It's just there's going to be some hours that I would normally be sleeping that I will sit by the telephone instead, which part of the job. The job.
Let's just say that the do not disturb function on our phones aren't going to be getting utilized anytime in the next couple of days. But why would it be? This is a comic book podcast. This is where our friends, our viewers, our live streamers come to hang out with us and discuss a week of comic books that was just released. And I'm pumped because it's a Saturday and I was in town all week and I got to read my comics, and that feels good.
A lot of comics this week. A lot of pretty good comics.
But Django, I'm not sure if I've, directly shared this with you or anything, but I'm in a real crisis of identity.
Uh-oh. Because you're a berserker man, berserk man now.
Berserkman. Yeah. In the 13 years I've been at the comic shop, I've never had a comic that was like sitting over there that I wanted to read in like over the week of new comics. For 13 years, a new week of comics makes me excited like Christmas morning, and I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah.
And for the first time, I'm like, I really want to read. I really should read this week's comics, but I gotta read this giant big hardcover thing. It's a weird. I've never 13 years always being excited to read, like the rise and fall of every, the cycle of a year of comics. I still love it every week. It's crazy.
I mostly assume that I'm going to live long enough to engage in all the media and do all the things I want, and that I'll still be into them when I get around to them. So most of the time, I'm not like dying to jump to a specific thing, but I read, when I read Sweet Tooth and when I read Lock and Key, I read the first 2 or 3 issues and I was like, okay, if I don't meter these and limit this to 1 trade per week, I'm going to blow through this and it's going to be done in 2 days. And I'm going to regret that.
So I have been thinking about you as I've been going through this thing, this Berserk thing. And I have, for most of my life, been super obsessive. Oh, thanks, Brian. 13 year. I love it. And that
13-year fig leaf. That's what they call
him. I've always been like super kind of obsessive about the interests that I'm into. And they're all I think about while I plow through them. And doing this Berserk thing, I'm like, I'm halfway through it now. And I had like Django's little chirping voice be like, do you need to plow through it all right now? I'm a puppet. If you read it all, then you'll be done with it. You could prolong the experience, which is not necessarily what I think you would say, but I was viewing it as you.
I would not ever say that to you because I've seen you get up to the last quarter inch in so many TV shows and comic books and then just be like, no, I don't want it to end. So I'll never find out if they lived or died and walk away with it satisfied. So I think you should finish Berserk, and I think you should keep up as it keeps coming out, please.
Okay, well, I need you to handle this room alone for just 1 second.
Okay. Guys, he has not finished so many TV shows, and the only time I don't finish a TV show is like with one of his favorites. If Jeff finishes it, I don't finish it.
You just did so good.
I'm 2 seasons behind in The Bear, buddy. I found that out last night.
I have not started this new season of The Bear that was entirely dropped.
I started last season.
Yeah, I did. I was wondering if you had gotten like halfway through it and didn't finish it or something, because I haven't gotten closure on the last season finale with you.
Yeah, I started it again last night. I've never worked in a kitchen, but it hits those same like stress areas for me as I think kitchen people, because it's like I'm responding to Carmi trying to deal with his work, life, interests, staff, friends, all
business
messed up into one thing, gumbo. And it's I like it, but it's definitely something that is not relaxing.
Django, I have to show you this thing that I got that I can't wait to get framed. Check this out. It's a print reproduction of the original art pages of a double page spread in Berserk.
Dude, that's rad.
And it's even down to the point where like it's faux like taped together. Because manga pages are smaller, so it's like 2 horizontal ones taped together to be wide, but you can see like the zipatone, everything, like the ink practicing, like it is.
So it's like
so
one of the
cool.
It's like that Batman Year One artist edition, but just 1 page from it.
Exactly.
That's super cool. Is that the original size that manga's printed? It looks like a little bit bigger than 8.5 by 11, maybe.
This one,
or drawn.
I don't have all the answers, but I did get out some manga volumes to compare it. So there's the connective area right here. This is 2 pages taped together.
Right.
So half of it, one, is a double page spread of a manga volume. So like this is a double page spread of a regular small
double
volumes.
Size.
Yeah, so it's 2 of those taped together.
Which is about what comics are done at.
Yeah, so I don't know if he was doing all of it larger and then having it shrunk down for those volumes or what, but
that's super cool.
I like, you know, at the very least, I'll say that while my attention is just divided, it's still very much on the holy triumvirate of comic book dumb. It's like being blown away by the beauty and technicality and storytelling of what an illustrated written graphic formula can do.
Yeah.
Oh, so good, buddy.
That's awesome.
So good. Yeah. I'm gonna close this door though.
Oh man, he leaves me alone so often. I'm going to show this on the video. Thank you, Jeffrey Figley, for coming through on the artist edition, says Nate McGarry Myers.
Hey. Well, that's an awesome, basically shout out to a similar thing as this, but Nate McGarry Myers, viewer, listener, watcher of Comic Space Presents Perfectly Acceptable podcast,
local artist,
also local artist and subscriber at Comics Place HQ, and you know, similar to my love of looking at like kind of faux original art like that, Nate, a month ago or so, was in and was like, hey, like, are there any other of those like big DC work in print, you know, original art books coming out again? And he was like, I'd like all of them. And so, you know, everybody that's a customer at a comic shop, if it's not ours, go in and talk to those people that order comics and sell them, because
oh, hey.
Because they'll make you get the music. Because they'll... All it took was that conversation. And now, like, while I was out of town, they did one of those work in progress artist editions of issue 1 of Supergirl. And as soon as I got back in town and I saw it was on our stand, I'd like go to the computer and make sure our friend Nate got one. So
nice.
That's one of the great things about working at a comic shop, is getting to like take people's collections into your head, and you almost get to collect comics for other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nate, you got it, buddy. I'm gonna listen. I will disappoint you at some point, and I apologize in advance. But we'll keep trying to get those for everybody.
You know what? I didn't know this, Jeff. Craig Mueller says, "Dudes, the World Cup is on." Yeah, and guess what? We got 5 viewers. We got 5 viewers from the World Cup.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Well, yeah, go US, Team USA. Get it? Soccer, football. Django, that's a joke because we're already out.
Football. Yeah.
Listen, Django and I are here to talk about football with you. Football.
That's pretty good. I don't have the guts to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's pronounced just like it's spelled. Futbol.
4 users, 3 users, 2 users.
That's the thing. They just got on to tell us this. Well, listen, we get it. Bubba says, I'm borrowing volume 1 of Berserk, and now I feel like Jeff handed me the One Ring. How much trouble am I in? Oh, bud, it's
9.
You're Bubba, customer at our store, member of our book club that Craig Mueller, you know, organizes and runs the conversations for.
And he's not watching the World Cup.
Exactly. Bubba came across Akira around the same age that I did, and it left a very similar imprint on him that it did to me. So he is like kind of perusing the single issues and collecting them now, and he likes metal and stuff. So I was like, there are not a ton of people that I'm hoisting Berserk on, but Bubba is one. And I've been texting Roman about it so much. I want him to
read it.
I want him to read it. I think Roman would really, really like it.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would.
But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about this week's comics and football. Django.
Football, indeed.
Football. I'm so out of touch with what's happening in the World Cup, but I do know that we're out. But that's why we're all here to talk about comics. This week, we had a new #1 from DC Comics, who is, you know, continuing to kill it in the comics industry these days.
Mhm.
And that, brings me to a secondary point that I'll bring up later after we discuss this. But Django and I were at a movie yesterday, and we got to see the Clayface trailer for the new Clayface movie. Django, you said you hadn't seen that yet.
I had not seen that trailer, and it looks pretty rad.
It looks good. My wife
straight up horror
doesn't super care about superhero stuff, and she's into that trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So probably now I'm looking forward to. I see all those movies, but now I want to see this one.
Probably based on the hype for that movie, which I don't even remember to look at release dates. But you were telling me that like the new Spider-Man comes out really soon.
Yeah.
So Clayface is probably coming out pretty soon too.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with you. Like I generally just let movies wash over me. I decide what I'm going to see based on what time it's showing sometimes.
Totally.
I want to see it all.
Totally. But I know the difference between you and I is that if I see it playing at noon, I'm like, let's go. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna wait till the sun's setting.
I got a movie metabolism that's very, very specific. If I walk out of a movie and it's still daytime, something flips in my brain and I lose an afternoon, or I forget what date it is.
So I'm the opposite, which is that when I walk out of a movie and it's still daytime, I'm like, I just gained an evening. Like I saw a movie and I still have tonight. But Clayface Celebrity Dirt #1 by Jude Ellison S. Doyle and Fran Golan with Patricio Del Peixe. Jude Ellison Doyle does, I believe, novels as well, but they also, I believe that they just did Neighborhood Watch, which has been coming out, which is like
from
Boom
Ignition
or Mad Day or Ignition, maybe.
Ignition or Boom. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I did too. She does, kind of smaller press stuff. I think it's a woman. And I see her name on mainstream books as well, but this is the first time I really kind of identified it as a main DC book. There's going to be a 6-issue mini-series focusing on Clayface. And when you get a new trailer or TV show or movie, coming out, you'll oftentimes have a mini-series or new creator added to a book to kind of gain some traction for it. So, I didn't pay too much pause or attention to this as it came through, but as I popped it open, like right on issue 1 and 2, the art specifically struck me with this issue, which is one of 2 books this week that page 1, I was like, this art is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But this one really leans into like the body horror that you can do with Clayface.
Yeah.
I think Clayface is a character that has had a pretty interesting last like 10 years, probably started with the James Tynion Detective Comics run. Yeah. Where he became kind of an anti-hero, or he was definitely part of kind of the Bat fam. And, he is typically a villain. So, what this does smartly is kind of leans into the multiple personality aspect of Clayface. So in this one, we are meeting an imprisoned Clayface. And I love like the doctors or police folks talking to him. He's certain that he's Basil is that the name? Basil Carlo?
Yeah.
And he's certain of that. And what they're saying is like, you're definitely not, but like
all of you
Clayfaces have the same genetics, the same genetic structure. So like, we can't necessarily prove who you are or aren't.
Yeah.
But we know you're not Basil Carlo. And he's like, you don't know that, I am. And ultimately he escapes and gets out. And we realize that he's not Basil Carlo because that guy is alive doing things out in the world. But this Clayface character has a strange and unique enough kind of status quo for the character these days that I like jumping into this because it feels like kind of untapped potential. Like, I don't know which way it's going to go. I don't have preconceived notions about what this character should or shouldn't do.
Probably in the first 4 months of reading comics, I landed on the Norm Brayfogle Batman run with the many Clayfaces, the many deaths of Clayface, the many lives of Clayface, whatever that. It's like 3 or 4 issues that crossed over between Batman and Detective, and it was just awesome art. Brayfogle was blowing me away even then, and I probably didn't even really think about the fact that different people were drawing comics back then. It was so early in my comic book understanding. But this book, the art in this is fabulous. Like you said, it grabbed you on page 1. Yes. Page 2 just hooks you though, because it's
totally.
like it's this melting clay face, and it's so gross, and like the colors complement the art really well. There's a scene where definitely not Basil Carlo is walking down the street, and he's basically, I read it as Basil Carlo is Tom Cruise. Totally. And there's a scene of him walking down the street, and his profile is right next to these movie poster profiles of him, and that's a cheap trick, and I loved it. Like good drawer.
Good drawer for sure. I'm just doing a little recon to see kind of what else they've done. And it looks like they were doing some of this Undead Iron Fist recently, Pine and Merrimack, maybe, or maybe they they did the interior art for Pine and Merrimack with Kyle.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, Kyle Starks. Just I had to look it up because this is coming out so fully formed. Like I feel like I should have seen this name for a while based on the quality of this art. And also shout out to the colors. Like it really gives the pencils and inks a leg up. But yeah, it almost kind of reminds me of the Narco and Vinyl, and like those faces are almost like a, Chew
Hilliard
kind of. Hilliard. Yep. Just really good, leaning into the body horror. Wasn't like super heady, didn't require you to know stuff going in, which I think when you have a film or TV property that's going to be coming out, you want something just like this. And I really have enjoyed Jude Ellison Doyle's other comics up until this point, so I'm pretty
Jude did Be Not Afraid.
Okay, they did.
Yeah.
Okay, that was really good.
Yeah, I haven't caught up with it, but I remember talking about it with you a little bit.
Yeah, I dug that.
Yeah, I thought this was excellent. And sometimes you get something that is supposed to be a companion to a movie or a TV show, and it's clearly just something that they're churning out, and this doesn't feel like a churn thing. This feels like here's an interesting good thing, not just let's cash in on this property.
100%, and also not contingent on that thing. It's like they could have just had a really, Clayface has had few enough books that there might just be a lot of people who have an interesting story pitch for this character. So between the great pitch and the fantastic art, I would highly recommend people check out this Clayface Celebrity Dirt. It's going to be a 6-issue miniseries, which is awesome. It's not just a one shot. Like, this is good.
Yeah. Yep.
So the question of a score comes into play, Django.
I'm going to give it a muddy 9.
Ooh, I'm going to give it a muddy 9 also. A dirty 9.
Dirty 9, a mud 9, dirt 9. I used to sell merch for mud 9, dirt 9 in high school.
I always like to have a dirty, muddy kiss. No, never mind.
That
next?
was now what do we?
Listen, Django, I got a package in the mail today.
Did you?
From a very friendly FedEx driver.
Okay.
And when I opened it, it was a boxed set of John Frusciante records that were just recently released under his Trick Finger name. But
would they make good weapons?
They would make fantastic paper cutting devices.
Nice.
Cardboard in the hands of a killer is destructive.
No J. J is joke.
Yeah. No J. In J's. No, that was my poorly framed segue to talk about B. Claymore and Daniel Gates' Dispatch this week from Ignition Press. Dude, so we have had the privilege in the last 10 or say 13 years to watch a fair number of comic publishers take their start in the industry, build a catalog of books, a stable of writers and artists, rise and flow. Ignition Press has done that in the last year or so. They've launched their line of books, and I would say the main critique I would have for small presses kind of opening up, trying to make a name on themselves, is not having a really consistent churn of books coming out for people to be able to read and expose themselves to like whatever their flavor is.
Yeah.
And Ignition has knocked that out of the park. Like it's been less than a year. And, you know, I don't want to throw any other publishers under the bus or anything, but some, I would say, like, will have a handful of things come out and then it's kind of radio silence for 5 or 6 months. And I think that's probably, like, if you're starting a podcast, being able to be regular is important. Django, what are we doing there?
We got to do this from the road, Jeff.
Yep, we got to do it from the road. But yeah, it's you know, it's great to feel like you can rely on them coming out. I know they've also got their toes in television and movie things. So Ignition Press, outside of being people that we like a lot behind the helm for the most part, I think, they got this Dispatch book, Django. And you are the one that turned me on to it on Wednesday.
So I spent a little bit of time with somebody from Ignition the other day, and we were just having lunch, and I don't remember if they asked or if I gave them the unsolicited opinion that that I would love to see new art styles on Ignition. And then, of course, I get home and I open this book up, and this is awesome, different art. This is like, oh God, who's the guy that did Moon Knight for a minute and Cross? Jason Burrows, but with more detail, right? Like this less paper doll body language and more high res.
This is the other book this week that on page 1, the art, like I started this and I was like, oh, I recognize the name B. Clay Moore. And I got through page 1 and I had to close it again to look at the artist name because Daniel Geet, even from just the first page, I think you can tell a lot about an artist by how dirty they're able to make things feel.
Yeah.
And like kind of the detail that requires. And this book in spades, like the front of the car's, like, you know, bumper is dirty. This person took the time to illustrate that, to put the lines in it. There's a person named that did the book Gardens of Glass. I'm forgetting their name of, but just the king of dirty looking books. They also did some stuff in like Prophet and Zero. But this is, in terms of the environments and the clothing and the body and the furniture, all of that really, really like in that Frank Quitely style of like thin line, hyper detailed. And I think the faces are quite good. I think that's, you know, the only spot that I would say, you know, I can't recall seeing this person's art before. So I'm going to assume they, you know, are newer. And if there was one thing I'm excited to watch them develop, it's faces. But no, like even their faces are great. There's some serious Frank Quitely in this book.
Yeah, I caught that too. Apparently, they did some Biker Mice from Mars.
Okay,
which should be interesting to you.
Yep, that was
I can't say that it's super interesting to me.
Yeah, but that's not your era.
Sorry, everybody. But
and
yeah.
Oni.
And Skin Police.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. I really like the art in Skin Police also. So yeah, really cool stuff. And not only is the art good, but the pitch is Die Hard with a UPS driver or an Amazon driver. Like, holy cow, how come we haven't had that yet?
Yeah.
Where's this been?
I didn't know that at all when Django said those words to me on Wednesday morning. But in the interim, I was excited to read it based on that and was just so pumped that the art is splendid. You mentioned hanging out with somebody from Ignition. We love that person. I will say the book Voyeur that's been coming out, that artist I think is maybe David Baldion. Anyway, love the art in Voyeur. Ignition is...
They've got a couple, and as soon as it came out of my mouth, I realized I should have reeled it back in. But, you know,
Django being a butt,
whatever.
Really
good comic. Well, I think I got to give this a 9. Also, there's not a lot of meat on these bones, but it's the meat I want.
Yeah,
you know
totally.
You know what I mean?
I backed off because I was worried I had the hiccups, but I pulled a Roman and hiccuped right into the thing there. But yeah, it's, a highly efficient war veteran or criminal or something who is busying himself delivering packages, but we basically get almost like that second or third arc of Batman Dark Patterns. We get like a closed building crime set, right? Multiple, levels, and this guy is trying to deliver packages, but a bunch of criminals have held it hostage, and it's really cool. But I think that, truly, what is it like? A bad artist can like kill a great story, but a great artist can make a mundane story sing. This isn't even a mundane story, but like this art, I would read any book with this person in it. Like this is a name for sure to watch, in the way that like it made me feel like when we read Hot Lunch Special and saw Jorge Fornet for the first time.
Totally.
This is a really, really good. So I'm also going 9, Django. It's like nice. It's a number 1 that I want to keep up with. But Django, I got a question for you.
Yeah. What do you got?
Actually, sorry, I'm receiving a transmission from Will Elmer. Hey, cuties. Happy episode number whatever number this is. I have a question for you this week, Django. In the spirit of the World Cup moving towards the end of the tournament and all these wonderful international visitors in our country, what are some of your favorite foreign comics, translated, of course, that you've read? I know Django's answer.
Oh, you do?
I have Django's answer.
Wow. Oh, it's Black Sad.
It's Black Sad. 100% it's Black Sad. Yeah.
It's Black Sad, but I would say one of my favorite comics that I never read translated was from a guy who did Jeremiah. And it was a French comic. My dad met this dude on a train when he was in Europe, and I was into comics at the time, and my dad brought home this manila envelope with like a press proof from this thing from Jeremiah. And he gave it to me, told me about meeting this French or Belgian dude on the train. And just like, I've never read it in English. I've flipped through it in French or Belgian or whatever it was, and loved the art. It was one of the first times I probably could have identified a French or Belgian artist by like visually. Because now, we can look at something from Humanoids and go, oh,
like that's a European line style.
Yeah, that's not American. And this taught me really early on what that was. And super cool that my dad had met this guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, it's Black Sad. Of course it's Black Sad.
Yeah. And you passed Black Sad, you were sending those to your dad and stuff as they were coming out.
Yeah, he really wanted to read I think volume 2 or volume 3 had a story about a song that was partly set in New Orleans.
Nice.
He had heard about it in Mother Jones or something like that.
I want to throw out honorable mentions for like any Mobius art, who like Django just said, French artist, but humanoid stuff. So like the Inkall, Jodorowsky wrote that. So I'm not sure if it was originally English or not. But the Inkall comes to mind. But I mentioned it earlier. Carmen, the Guillaume March.
Oh yeah.
That had gorgeous art about the kind of lady who had died and going through that.
Sexy Ghost Lady. That's what I called that book.
Yeah, you did. You got that tattoo that said Sexy Ghost Lady on your ankle.
Yep.
An anklet tattoo. But no, my go-to is I gotta say Berserk. Berserk.
Really? You like Berserk?
Yeah.
Is that a comic you're liking?
Yeah. So I don't know if you know about Japanese comics, but actually I have a little bit of original art photo right here. But
not okay. Manga off the table. Is there anything else you would you'd put on there?
Manga off the table. Yeah, right. Because
I don't think that was the spirit of the question.
No, it's not. But like,
you like that? 2 dudes in trench coats. The spirit of the question.
Oh, buddy, you just pulped. You just pulped me. You just pulped
you in twain.
Gosh. Well, in that case, can I go with my? I got to go with my Mobius answers then.
Yeah, that's a really good answer.
I'm just looking at my big collected editions over here. Can I say Akira?
No, manga.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep. Thank you for your question, Will. As always, if you, dear listener / viewer, would like to contribute to this podcast, Django and I love it. We had a third leg on this stool once upon a time, and he said, "No,
I'm tired of having my leg on a stool."
Yep. So if you want to be the third leg on this stool, you can easily do that by sending any type of verbal or auditory written correspondence to jeff@thecomicspace.com. That's what Will obviously did this week when he turned up and loved us guys. Awesome. So thank you, as always, William, for doing that. Django, we had another #1 this week from a not big two publisher, and this one I was concerned was a little bit of a vanity project. When I see a new #1 written by a name that I recognize as like an actor or a musician or something, it makes me wonder, like, is this going to be good, or is this just a vanity project? So Dark Horse Comics gave us Witness Point #1 this week, and I want to get the specifics of the credits. Okay, so Witness Point is created by Nathan Fillion, Heath Kurjan, and Sue Lee, but the script is by Heath Kurjan.
The concept is Nathan Fillion, right?
Yeah. So as I read through it, I felt like I would have believed that Nathan Fillion had written this.
Written it, or just was the guy I was watching acting out the comic book. I want him to read the dialogue of this to me out loud as I drift off to sleep.
Exactly. Did Nathan Fillion star in Slither?
I think he was in Slither. Slither. Like
this reminded me of Slither.
Oh, okay.
Well, being very
small
different,
town,
but just small town cop guy that I was reading as Nathan Fillion.
You know what impressed me with this is, so the story is like, it's a small town sheriff with a little town of quirky people. The mayor is an ex-clown. It's like a place that circus people come after they retire. Is that right? Or when they're not traveling. It's a town full of clowns and tigers and stuff. And that is enough. That's all you need for an entertaining story. Like, I would read that Mark Russell comic. But in addition to this, it turns out, and this is a spoiler for 15 pages in or whatever, this town is also the place that a lazy Fed would drop off people for witness protection. So instead of spreading them out all over the state, this lazy bastard just brought all of his charges to one town. So not only is it a town full of clowns and tigers and elephant trainers, it's also a town full of retired mobsters who have turned state's evidence, which, holy cow, that's awesome. And the characters in here are rad.
So as I was starting to read it, and I was a couple pages in, I started having like an inner dialogue because I didn't know anything about this book or what it was. And like within a couple pages, I started thinking like, all right, like a good book, you should within a couple pages be able to kind of get a pitch of what it is. You know, maybe, I don't know. Those were just the thoughts in my head. And I was like, I don't know what this book is. And then I turned the page and I was like, oh, it's this. Which was an interesting pitch. But then I kept reading and I got several more pages in and I was like, oh no, it's this.
It's this.
So for a book that like at the beginning, I didn't really know exactly what it was. It had like multiple points where I think some books would have stopped at one because it would have been all that they had. But this has multiple very interesting corners to dig into and pull apart or to pitch, you know, and then not the least of which is just sort of feeling the Nathan Fillion of this main protagonist. But yeah, like the Fillion of it. Yeah, but being this like weird circus town, but then, this awesome thing happens where the fact that all these witness protection people have been dropped here. So all of the sudden the trust throughout the whole town shifts and everyone is just like, well, this is this person I've known for years that I thought I've trusted, but has all of this been a lie? So it was just a great way to twist a little mystery into all of it and create suspicion amongst all these people. So yeah, just like a well done plot that it doesn't need to be immediately recognizable. You know, sometimes you do need to read something, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
And the art was good.
Thought about it.
I don't know how to read.
The art was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I would have liked. There's something about this story that feels slipperier than the art gives you, if that makes any sense. I don't really know how to describe it, but I was never
Slippery.
confused about who was who. I got a good feeling for the town. Like I might have been reading the slippery part wrong.
No, that's a good point. Actually, it didn't immediately strike me, but I think that you're right. I didn't ever really struggle to know who was who, and I think it's because the voices of each character was very strong. And
Yeah.
it might be like when you have a Nathan Fillion type in there and you have a definitive kind of shape of a character, but the people that he bounced off of made sense and seemed very well defined. So I do think, Heath Curzon, I'm excited to, you seem to have some teeth on you.
Yeah. And Sully too. What do you give this comic book, Jeffrey?
I give it a 7.5.
7.5. And I'm going to give it an 8.0. I liked it a lot. Believe it or not, Witness Protection is right up my A, where the A is for Allie.
Okay. That I was confused for just 1 second, but then it turns out that it was just a 60-second buckshot go.
Oh, heavens to Betsy. I read Barbara Gordon Breakout number 3. I'm still not sure that I agree with Barbara Gordon's plan and maybe Batman's plan to send her into jail to figure out who's been killing people, because they already seem to know who's been killing people, and she could have done that without being in jail. I also read Bleeding Hearts number 6. This art by Sitpan Morian just gets more and more impressive. We kind of came to a head with one of the main plot lines in this issue, and this book just keeps getting better. I'm super impressed with it. I also read the next issue of, where is it here? Firestorm, The Fury of Firestorm number 4. Jeff Lemire, I want you back on indie stuff so bad. So bad. The art in this by De La Torre that's the thing, but I just can't stick with the writing on that one.
Wait a minute.
Go on.
The art
Fury of Firestorm?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking Delator and Deladera. Sorry, I thought the fill-in artist for Absolute Batman was maybe the same person. And I was like, holy crap, those are incredibly different styles. Yeah. Have you been enjoying Firestorm up to this point?
I like the setup of the first issue, even though it was a little bit similar to the Jenny Sparks book. And since then, I've been slowly liking it less. I'm going to finish it because I don't think it's bad. It felt like an independent Jeff Lemire book when it first came out, and now it feels like a main DC Universe Jeff Lemire book to me. And neither of them is bad, but I like the other one better.
Reading between the lines on that, I would say that generally a main DC Jeff Lemire book isn't of the same caliber of an independent Jeff Lemire book.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it is really weird. I was talking to the book club about that this week while they were in on Thursday evening discussing Fish Flies. So good. And, writing and doing the art. And, more than many comic bookers, I feel like Jeff Lemire contains multitudes.
Yes.
Which is a good thing. But I have not read issue number 4 of The Fury of Firestorm yet, this week's issue. I have really been liking the book. And I don't know if it's that I just really like having the opportunity to be reading a Firestorm book that feels like we're really trying to establish a ground zero for everyone to, get on board with, because it's a character that's been around forever and the origins switched around a little bit. But I have enjoyed it quite a bit. So
nice.
I am eager to read this issue, but yeah, I'll get back to you, Django.
Okay. Yeah. I'm curious to hear what you think. It's also a lot more kind of psychology stuff than action stuff. So it would make sense to me that you would enjoy it more. 90 Seconds Go, Buckshot.
Yeah. Oh, well played. Okay. Well, listen, everybody, this week it's Simbi. Marvel Comics got the first issue out of Symbii, which I love cute things, and this is clearly coming to capitalize on the success of It's Jeff by Kelly Thompson and Guri Hiru. I will say that this character kind of debuted in the portions of the Amazing Spider-Man series while he was out in space that Joe Kelly's been doing, or Joe Casey, one of the two, and Joe Kelly. And, you know, kudos to them for getting a book where they can create a whole bunch of small kind of non-dialogue driven stories. At the kind of the last third of this is mostly the Spider-Man pages where the character was first introduced. Symbii's very cute. There is a magic to It's Jeff. And a lot of that is Guri Hiru's art, I think. So while I liked this and it's cute, and there are some parts that made me like laugh. Like one point he's like left alone in Peter's room and he's playing with the web dispensers and it goes in his mouth and he's eating it. And that was all very cute. But it also feels a tiny bit like a cash grab. So I will say, you know, not the same strengths there. Bad Idea put out a book called Dingoliath this week. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this has interior art by Mannix.
I'm sorry, your time's up.
Abrera. Nice one. That went quick. I'm glad. Well done.
But I do want
to. Dingoliath? Did you read it?
I did. I read it standing in front of the stands on Wednesday morning before we opened. It's
Kyle
quick,
Northrop,
but it's awesome.
Kyle Northrop just said Symbii better than Jeff the Shark, less good than Jeff the Figley. That's the cutest and sweetest thing I've heard. Thanks, buddy. That was
hot Northrop right there.
Yeah.
You just got hot Northrop.
Dude, this Bad Idea Dingoliath book, it has to be a mistake. This book is $5.99.
22 pages.
It's like 20 pages with no dialogue. The art is amazing. And I like it, but there's a preview in the back of this book that would take longer to get through than the main crux of this issue. That just, it almost feels like I can't help but wonder if there's a mistake there. But this Mannix dude, I love his art. He's mostly been doing covers up till this point, but Mannix Abrera, doing like Thundercats covers, a bunch of stuff over at Dynamite. This is the first time I've gotten to see his art on interiors. And for a book that didn't really have any dialogue and is apparently, from Sean's pitch, kind of introducing some sort of like monster line or
monsterverse.
Yeah. I love the art and it's cute, but also kind of like Jim Woodring's Frank, you know, the sort of psychedelic alternative artist, Jim Woodring. Like it's in that vein. But like the paper stock and the amount of story in it for $5.99, I'm kind of blown away. Django, did you read this? What'd you think?
I liked it.
Yeah, me too.
I liked the presentation. I thought the covers were really cool. You know, I think that's still about the same price as a Christmas card for your grandma. So I'll let somebody draw 20 pages of art that I can sink into every single panel of before I'll buy my grandma a greeting card.
Well played. You know. That's a good point. Greeting cards and magazines that we know we're going to throw away would cost more than this. And
I'm going to piss a beer out and it's going to cost me 2 of these comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, for sure.
Like the price sensitivity for comic books always surprises me. That does seem a little high.
It's like, just a little
compared to the rest of them.
Little crazy, but yeah. Like it's a buck or so more than, you know, one of the like absolute DC books that came out this week. But you know, I feel weird saying that as a person who owns a comic shop. So, you know, you should all buy this and get it. And it's gorgeous. And like the prices are dictated by making sure these people can have livable wages and make, you know, live and afford to make this art and stuff. So,
and the next one is called Realligator. I think it might be a Reanimator joke.
I like that. Dingoliath and Realligator are both pretty good.
If this guy only does one word per book and it's titles like this, hashtag worth it. What kind of score do you give Dingoliath?
In a vacuum, The pages that I read with the art, I'm giving it an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. What about you?
That's a quality comic.
Yeah.
I think I would give it an 8 too. Same thing. Didn't take long to read, but I enjoyed it and I like the storytelling. I don't necessarily need words to go with the things because
totally
there's certain people who, if they wrote this, the words would be unnecessary, right? The right art and writer combination can be silent and be just as effective if you're willing to get in that panel and curl up inside it with them.
That's the thing.
I feel like we've reversed roles here. I don't know what.
No. You're right. No, I, as you said that, I was thinking that same thing. Cause like, that's the thing that like makes me, I read slowly, and it's because I try to maximize the amount that I'm getting out of it. And so to that token, you're not usually feeling shortchanged by a comic because you're giving it a lot of time. This is like pretty cartoony art, but really good. So yeah, I like it. I would give that an 8. I'm going to give It's Simbi an 8 as well. And it's quite cute. And it's a book that I would give to my nephews, who I recently gave Jeff the Landshark to, and got a text message a couple days later from my brother-in-law. And he was like, I am in love with this Jeff the Landshark guy. So good stuff there.
Nice. Are we going to talk about these elephants in the room, Jeff?
I feel like before we get out of here, we got to talk about this absolute corner that we've got.
Yeah.
If that's the elephant you were referring to.
Those are the elephants. Both of them.
So, Django, the way that I prioritize my reading this week, when I was in the comic shop on Wednesday morning, I heard you and Sean talking about Absolute Batman, which I had not read yet, and pointed out that it was going to be a fill-in artist issue.
Yep.
So anytime I hear that, I'm a little like, oof, okay, I really like Nick Dragata's art, so bummer. But I got in here, and through the conversation that you two were having, I think I learned or realized that this is the artist who's doing Something is Killing the Children, I think.
Yep. Werther Dell'Edera.
Yeah. And I don't really have complaints about the art. That's obviously not up to the Dragata snuff for me. But did you say at some point in that conversation that you found the story kind of hard, like difficultly conveyed through the art in here?
Well, I really like this art. And the first page, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's not Nick Dragata. And I didn't look at the front, and I was like, oh, this is Gabriel Hernandez Walta. Because that first page is like colored like Walta, and it's got a million panels, and it just had that feeling. Turns out it's Werther Dell'Edera, who also awesome and doesn't actually look like Hernandez Walta at all. But that first page kind of had echoes for me.
The coloring, because they do that kind of film, that gray film faded, on flashbacks. Which is what Phantom Road does.
Yeah. I like this art a lot. I don't think that it was super clear in the fight scenes, and I was never really sure. So this is following Harley Quinn and Batman having an adventure against the Robins, and then we're getting flashbacks for what has happened to Harley Quinn as a child and how she grew up. And I had a really hard time tracking what was happening with the action side of it. And to be fair, I had a really hard time tracking the Robins before also. And I think it's because,
it's like a team that are talking to each other. And
Scott's doing his best where the characters all use each other's names. It's like Jason, Tim, like they're saying names. So by process of elimination, you can kind of figure out who's who, but I'm just not a Gundam sized people robot guy. And so that has been confusing me a little bit all around. But if I had one thing I would change about this art, it would be clearer action sequences, and maybe even just like 2 pages where they put in one for the action. Because I feel like we were on fast forward for where things were going. That all said, the twists were rad.
I agree. I haven't quite been able to join the momentum of the Robin storyline for lack on my part of like understanding or it grokking perfectly yet or something.
Yeah.
Could be also that like by nature of this absolute story, they're kind of antithetical to our understanding of what the Robins are. So it's sort of like, oh, my Robin. So I'm on board for it. And there's like a couple, like there's one panel where we're inside the cockpit of the giant mech Robin, and we see the side of his face looking out the like visor of it, and that's just a really cool visual effect. What I will say that I dug is that like this was the quite a bit of characterization for the absolute Harley Quinn. You know, she's been peppered throughout issues and been in the background, but Harley, just to begin with, is a character where her brain is coming from can vary a lot from comic to comic. So getting a kind of foundational look at who this character is, I thought was really useful. I liked the bouncing between time frames. I think in the beginning of Absolute Batman, I had mentioned like kind of having some difficulty with understanding flashbacks from current time. And that has become a lot easier for me, just from either the familiarity with it or if they're like dialing up that kind of grayscale, you know, faintness for those flashbacks. But yeah, this one, I agree. I basically had to chalk it up as like Batman and Harley were doing something while I was reading these flashbacks, and whatever they were doing ultimately led to the moment that we got near the end, but I couldn't really track it. And I didn't remember how it was continuing from the previous issue, but I think the previous issue was probably Dragata. So like you have to deal with a bit of a leap when you're changing artists like that from, you know, a moment to moment basis. They're referring to the straw man as Scarecrow pretty regularly in this issue, which I didn't remember them for sure referring to him as Scarecrow up until this point.
Nice.
But I'll take that. But you know, I was like, is this the same guy? Is that, you know, a different person? And then we get some pretty big reveals about Harley Quinn in here.
And Batman. So there's two big reveals, and spoiler alert, if you haven't read it, plug your ears for a minute or so. Harley Quinn's dad is the Joker. Feels to me like maybe Scott's making a daddy's little monster joke.
Oh my God, that shirt from the movie. Whoa.
I wasn't super surprised. A few pages before we got that reveal, I was like, oh, it's probably him.
I agree. I had the same thought.
And that's fine. The one that did surprise me, though, was finding out that according to this video that we saw, that the straw man or Scarecrow shows us, Bruce's dad is alive. And I feel like our staff has not been impressed with that. I think it's kind of cool because now we truly have the opposite of Batman, where his parents are alive. Not one of his parents is alive and she's a bad guy. His parents are alive, and that's the opposite of Batman.
Yeah. I haven't heard the staff's conversation about it. But I will say, I feel like audiences at large respond to the newest bit of information as like definitive, as a large scale thing. And the way I interpreted that within here is that there is this ongoing refrain of it's not true. Even if it's true, it's not true. Even if it's true, it's not true throughout this issue. So I did not take that in as factual at this point. For me, like Harley's dad being the Joker, this refrain of if it's true, it's not true. And like, you know, what they were saying about scarecrows in this. At one point, there's a kind of rhetorical question asked about like, why are people afraid of scarecrows? And it's like, it goes into this idea of they make a thing that's not true feel true or vice versa. So
he's a straw man. His dad's a straw man.
Yeah, or something like, I don't know. But in general, I withhold strong opinions, I feel like, so right now I'm taking it as the ride. Like we got a cliffhanger and that was happening, and that's a crazy cliffhanger. But like, even as that, it says call terminated, where he's seeing that video, and then his refrain, the last dialogues we get of him are, "It's not true. It's not true." To me, that feels like a storytelling seed to maybe say it's not true, but I don't know.
The thing that made me believe
but I don't have a problem.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah.
Like, I just trust Scott Snyder to tell me a fun story.
Yeah.
The thing that made me believe it was what his dad said, which was, "I don't want him to see me like this. Let him think I'm dead. You promised."
Yeah.
Like,
that's
that feels less like an actor than.
No, that's paternal. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I'm along for the ride, and I would give this one a solid 8.5, I think. Yeah. 8.5 from Not Daddy.
I think one of the things that I love about the Absolute books is that it particularly removes from inside of me the feeling that things should or shouldn't be a certain way.
Right.
It's like, no, my feelings of what should or shouldn't be are predicated on my understanding of the mainstream Batman and 80 years of that character existing in a certain way. So I like the Absolute books because it can do this. It can say, nope, the dad's alive, trick.
Right.
So that is a plus for me. I'm going to go 9 on this. And
nice.
I think there's a conversation between 8.5 or 9. And I would say it's based on the art, but I'm going to lean into the 9 here, even though the art, wasn't necessarily my favorite. I did like visually how Harley Quinn's mother was portrayed in like a weird way. I did have some questions about her closet and the connection between Arc M, but I do like the idea of Harley's mom being almost like, a servant of the Joker and her dad being the Joker. I like that twist. To me, that's more interesting than like a abusive sexual relationship between them or something, like I prefer that. That's more interesting. So I'm going to go 9 on that. And this conversation put me at that 9. So well played.
It's amazing to be picking at the differences between Nick Dragotta and Werther Dell'Edera. Like, if Werther Dell'Edera is the thing that takes you down half a notch, holy cow, you got a good comic on your hands.
Yeah. And like, it's really cool that we are in a spot where like DC is just having these amazing Absolute books come out and carrying the whole line, and comics are, it's almost like in the 2000s, early 2000s, when like the Ultimate line at Marvel was like carrying the main Ultimate or main Marvel line or something. It's
totally,
that's pretty cool. So on that note, let's talk briefly about Absolute Catwoman number 2. This is written by Scott Snyder, and is it Che Grayson? Gavin Grayson? Something.
Gavin Grayson?
There we go. And then Bengal is doing the art. Bengal, who did Death or Glory with Rick Remender.
No, it is Che Grayson.
Okay.
Interesting.
I couldn't remember why I was thinking that, but yeah. So we've got issue 2 of Absolute Catwoman. This is going to be a 6-issue miniseries. A character that we are learning more about, because this character has not really gotten that same treatment that even Harley Quinn got in the previous issue of Absolute Batman here. We are needing to kind of figure out who she is. We've had seeds of her, but there's large swaths of her past and relationships that we don't really know much about. So we're getting a lot of that through this miniseries. What do you think of this?
This felt like a James Bond to me. She sets up she sets up a honeypot auction for rich people so that she can track down who wants this widget that Holly gave her in the last issue, and then hopefully find Holly's kidnapper. I've always had a real soft spot for Holly. I don't think she really gets used that much, but she's like in upwards of 6 panels in year 1, and I've always really enjoyed the idea that Catwoman had kind of an annoying little kid sister roommate at some point.
So what Holly's a Frank Miller character, which is why you know more about her, because like I'm not super familiar with this character, but she's in like year 1.
And that's all I know her from. I'm sure other people have used her, but she's in like, she's hanging out with Selena when Selena's like half prostitute, half Catwoman in year 1.
Shaved head, awesome lady. I love that Catwoman.
And like Holly's yelling at like calling her Selena, while Selena's like deciding if she should go out and help Bruce, who doesn't even have his Batman cowl on. He's just got a scar and a stocking cap. It's like the day that he gets beat up and decides to become a bat, right?
Yeah.
They're all kind of intertwined in that story, and she's just somebody to play Selena off of, and I always enjoyed that character. So to have her be she's not the MacGuffin here, but she's kind of the MacGuffin here. And I like that.
I am digging this book. I do think you said it very well a moment ago, which is like kind of James Bond-esque.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that like kind of spy, thief, espionage stories are not something that I feel like I'm as good at reading as I am other things.
Sure.
You know, so like it can be kind of confusing. And if I had to point at something about this, I would say that I think it could benefit, and maybe I'm echoing myself, but I think this could benefit from employing a little bit more definitive difference between the present and the past in the way that the Absolute Batman book is, because there's moments throughout this issue where it's switching between current day and the past, and the art isn't super different. And I was needing to look at like outfits or, you know, hair to try and discern that. And it was kind of tricky for me. So
not to nitpick, but each time they flash, they tell you when it is. There's a caption for it.
Yeah.
It's 9 years ago or now.
Yeah. Just near the very end, it does 9 years ago, and they're in that dark room there. And she says, because we're friends. And then
and then it does flash.
Does it like,
yeah, no, they skip one.
The same moment. Yeah. Anyway, it's just
no, they do skip one. You're right.
The very end, I got lost, and I was like, "Wait, which time frame is this?"
Yep. Yeah. No, I see it.
Just not having a super dialed in awareness of her characterization across various times, or which characters are there, because, like, you know, the Holly. Even I'm just like, who is? I don't know her super well. So
it's 9 years ago, but she still looks super young. Right. Like there's not a lot of character difference.
Right.
I don't think I like the tail.
The cat tail?
The cat tail, like the electric cat tail.
Okay.
I'm trying really hard not to get hung up on the tail or the helmet. But if I was king of the world,
I don't mind the helmet. And it even like harkens back to, I mean, issue number 1 had that visual shout out to Darwin Cook's Catwoman outfit with like the big goggles that turned out to not be her.
Yeah.
I can deal with the big helmet. I'm into that. The cat tail, I agree. It throughout this, I didn't realize that's what it was. I thought this was a whip or something. Yeah, there's moments where we're like tied up. Yeah, you're right. I don't understand the real practical application of that in high stress moments. But
where should you keep it?
On her butt.
Okay.
Yeah, right, it's a tail. It wraps around the waist, kind of like a Saiyan, you know, like a Goku.
Belt. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, allow it.
And I will also say, like, the helmet, based on everything that happened in that very first volume of Absolute Batman with, like, the Animal Club and the helmets with, like, the weird stuff that was being transmitted. Yeah, that all added an air of legitimacy to, like, large helmets that would have been more difficult for me to swallow if they hadn't written it into the plot like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I like this. It's only 6 issues, so I'm not like needing to invest in a long-term story. So even while I don't necessarily love kind of globe-trotting spy stories or thief stories as this kind of is, I do like it. I like this character. I've really liked, there was that very spicy issue with her and Bruce and Abs Bats, you know, that I like those characters that I identify with having a person that they care about and resonate with and stuff. So she is that. So I want to love and understand her. So I'll keep going through this. But yeah, I will say that it's not immediately a bunch of stuff that I love.
It's at least at least 3 up from the bottom of the absolutes for me, maybe even more than that.
That's true.
I'm going to read this a lot longer than I read a couple of those series.
Yeah, I'm still weirdly into Abs Flash, but yeah.
I give this an 8. I really like the art too. I'm going to give it an 8.5. I really like the art. It had Peter Snayberg echoes to me, and I love the way that guy draws. And I like the Bengal also, not just to say Snayberg. Yeah,
I like Bengal a lot. I'm going to go an 8 on this one. I think 8.5 is totally fair. I'm going to go 8 just because, like, I lack the spy noir espionage dialect to be able to fully appreciate it. So, Django, before we get out of here, because I really need to pee, can you tell me just briefly about Rascal Randy?
Yeah. Rascal Randy. Okay, so I finished
Exquisite. Go!
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch the World Cup enough to know that, like, when somebody scores, they yell it until they run out of breath?
Oh, Craig just put that. Yeah. Goal.
U.S. scored.
Rascal Randy is a character from Exquisite Corpses. I read all of his Exquisite Corpses, which I was kind of surprised by. I don't always read all of Tynion's stuff. What I realized a few issues in was that he had a different writer and a different artist, I think, for each issue. So it was more of a collaborative thing. And I thought that was interesting, especially given the kind of huge cast that he had in there. And this one is written by Tyler Boss, which is pretty awesome.
Love him.
Yeah. I picked it up because I wanted to read Rascal Randy, and somebody auto-subbed me to it, probably you. I was like, I don't know if I need more of this world. And I saw Tyler Boss on there, and I started looking through it. It's got art by Dylan Burnett and colors by Jordi Belair, and it's good. It's just like a pretty slowly paced Five Nights at Freddy's adjacent thing, but without the horror necessarily. A little more grounded than that. So yeah, I liked Exquisite Corpses way more than I expected to. I'm glad that they're continuing the universe. 7.5, probably an 8, 7.5 or an 8 from me.
Dude, I feel like even like 5 years ago, I would have felt like James Tynion has sort of built an amount of a career off of like speculator buzz or something based on like the Batman run and stuff. But I just like, he's a really good world builder and writer. Like I've worked through my own bullshit with that. And like, he's a good world builder and writer. Not all of his books are something that I love, but he is, you know, it's clearly stood the test of time. And he also just a real nice dude.
I mean, you know, sometimes you can use something like your ability to create new characters and create a speculator market for your comics to get a profile that lets you do other stuff.
Right.
You know, it's and I don't think he stepped on anybody's face as he climbed those ranks. But I think he's definitely not stepping on anybody's face now as he does this stuff, you know.
Totally.
Like he got to a point where it feels like he could execute the stuff that he wants, he's passionate about. And I've listened to podcast interviews with him talking about like, oh yeah, I did this. I had this plan and I followed this plan and now I'm at this place. And that was even a few years ago. So I'm stoked that he's able to do this, and stoked that he's bringing in so many other good creators as like co-hosts for these books. Really,
and I think the Tiny Onion imprint is doing really cool stuff and pushing what comics can do and broadening it. So
100%.
Yeah, I like that guy, and I'm happy for him. So for sure. What's your score for this? You said
7.5, maybe an 8. Yeah, okay. 7.5, 8. Good stuff. And I don't think you need to read Exquisite Corpses to dig it. So try it out.
Well, this character is also somebody that like people have been coming in and asking about at our shop for a while. So I do think there is like, you know, people into it. So, well, you guys, we're at the end of this. Django and I have been gone for a little while. It's been a weird kind of 6 weeks in and out of towns and stuff. But I think Django and I are both around next weekend. So I think we're going to definitely do this. Hopefully we'll have a Roman on board. We'll have Will in his normal chair, and Andrew. Shout out Andrew Carlson, as always, friend of the show, for editing the podcast, making sure this thing can get recorded and go out to everybody.
Droop.
Oh, that too.
And droop.
Yeah. And droop. Just another reminder. It truly makes us so happy to see people talking in the chat and the comments over here. Thank you for doing that. We are streaming live on Facebook while we do this, and maybe
YouTube
also
too,
on
baby.
YouTube. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I wasn't ever sure.
Basically social moguls.
But I know that as soon as it's done, it gets sent to our YouTube. So if you're listening to this as the audio podcast, feel free to join in on YouTube or Facebook. Comics Place on YouTube, Comics Place Presents, you'll find us. But if you're also somebody who would maybe be kind of like me, who is just like, I listen to this stuff when I've got a minute, but I also want to contribute, send an email to jeff@thecomicsplace.com. That is an email address that Django set up specifically for us for the Comics Place Presents
podcast exclusive email address.
Exactly. Send an email to us, and that'll go to me, and we'll either read it or play it live on the air. Shout out Kyle Northrup. Love you. Thank you for being in the chat and doing all you do for the comics industry. And then also Chaz Von Graves. So happy to see you in the chat and get to see you not long ago in person, but you just wonderful to get to connect with you again, my friend. So, and then also 2 weeks from now, Django and I will be in San Diego for San Diego Comic Con. If you are listening or watching and you will be there, please give us a shout. We'd love to see you, love to bond, hug, buy you a drink, and maybe we'll find a way to send something out while we're there. But that's all I've got, buddies. So thank you so much, Django. Good to see you. I don't ever see you unless we're on this podcast. So
I know. Welcome back from Minnesota.
Welcome back from Wyoming.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you for welcoming me back. I'd
Love
like
you
to
guys.
say to everybody here.
Oh.